Imagine you are sitting alone in a quiet room late at night. You are monitoring a machine that listens to the universe. Hour after hour, day after day, all you hear is static. Random noise, the meaningless hiss of cosmic radiation bouncing around an empty galaxy. Then one night, something changes. A signal appears, clean, powerful, structured, coming from a direction in deep space where nothing should be transmitting. It lasts 72 seconds, and then it disappears forever.
Wow, look at
You
this.
pick up your pen.
Right
You look
here.
at what you have just
This is
witnessed,
it.
and the only word you can find, the only word that comes close to describing what you are feeling, is one single word. Wow. This is not science fiction. This happened. On August 15, 1977, at a radio observatory in Ohio, a signal arrived from deep space that has never been explained, never been replicated, and never been forgotten. Nearly 5 decades later, it remains the most compelling, most mysterious, and most debated event in the entire history of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. This is the complete story of the WOW signal. To understand why this signal was so shocking, you first need to understand the world it was discovered in. It is 1977. The Cold War is at its peak. America and the Soviet Union are locked in a silent arms race that extends beyond missiles and into space itself. NASA has just launched the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 spacecraft, 2 golden probes carrying a record of human sounds, music, and languages, sent outward as a message to whoever might be listening out there. The idea of extraterrestrial life was not fringe science in 1977. It was serious government-funded research. Scientists genuinely believed that if intelligent life existed elsewhere in the galaxy, it would eventually try to communicate. And the method they predicted would be used, the method that made the most logical sense across any species, any language, any civilization, was radio waves. Specifically, radio waves transmitted at 1420 megahertz. Why that frequency? Because hydrogen, the most abundant element in the entire universe, naturally emits radio waves at exactly 1420 megahertz. Any civilization advanced enough to understand basic physics would know this frequency. It would be the universal channel, the cosmic telephone line that every intelligent species would monitor. At Ohio State University, a team of researchers had been listening on exactly that frequency for years. Their telescope was called Big Ear, a massive, flat radio antenna roughly the size of 3 football fields, sitting in the middle of an Ohio field, pointing at the sky. Every day, Big Ear would sweep across a section of the sky as the Earth rotated. It recorded everything it heard onto long paper printouts, columns of numbers and letters representing signal intensity from various directions in space. Volunteers and researchers would then sit down with these printouts and manually look for anything unusual. Most days, there was nothing. Then came August 15th. Dr. Jerry Ehman was a 36-year-old astronomy professor and volunteer researcher for the Big Ear project. He was passionate about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but after years of scanning blank printouts, even his enthusiasm had become routine. A few days after August 15th, Ehman sat down with the latest batch of printed data. He began scanning through the columns the way he always did, quickly, looking for any number above 4 or 5, which would indicate something worth a second look. He almost missed it.
Fits the pattern.
Buried in the middle of one column was a sequence that stopped him cold. 6EQUJ5. In the notation system Big Ear used, numbers from 1 to 9 represented signal intensity on a scale. Anything stronger than 9 was assigned a letter, A for 10, B for 11, and so on. The letter U represented an intensity of approximately 30. Background noise from space typically registered between 1 and 3. This signal had hit U, 30 times above background noise, and it had not just been strong. It had appeared at almost exactly 1420 megahertz, the hydrogen line, the frequency. The one frequency above all others that scientists had flagged as the channel an intelligent civilization would use.
Precisely. Now you try.
Ehman stared at the printout. His hands were shaking. He picked up his red pen. He drew a circle around the sequence, and in the margin beside it, He wrote
Let's
one
check
word.
the values in this row.
Wow.
The SU value is 15.
That printout
max
is preserved
17.
to this day. That single handwritten word became the name of the most significant potential extraterrestrial signal ever detected. The signal was analyzed carefully in the days and weeks that followed. What scientists found only deepened the mystery. The signal had appeared from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, a region of the sky pointing toward the inner part of our Milky Way galaxy. It had lasted exactly as long as Big Ear's receiver would expect a genuine deep space signal to last, as Earth's rotation carried the telescope beam across a fixed point in the sky, approximately 72 seconds. Not 71, not 73, exactly as the physics predicted. This ruled out a local interference source. A plane flying overhead, a military broadcast, or a satellite would not produce a signal that matched the precise duration and pattern expected from a fixed deep space source. The signal also showed the characteristic rise and fall of intensity that scientists called the signature of a genuine astronomical signal, building from nothing, peaking sharply, then fading back to nothing as the Earth rotated past the source. It was, in every measurable way, exactly what a signal from an intelligent extraterrestrial source would look like. Multiple other radio telescopes were immediately redirected toward the same region of Sagittarius. They heard nothing. Big Ear itself scanned that location hundreds of times over the following months. Nothing. The signal had come once, lasted 72 seconds, and then silence. In the decades since 1977, scientists have put forward multiple theories to explain the WOW signal. Each one tells us something important, and none of them fully closes the case. The first and most discussed theory is the one you already know: alien life. An intelligent civilization, located somewhere in the direction of Sagittarius, deliberately broadcast a powerful radio signal on the hydrogen frequency. Perhaps it was a beacon, a long-running transmission designed to announce their existence to any civilization in the galaxy advanced enough to be listening. Perhaps it was a single directed message, aimed specifically at star systems they had identified as candidates for intelligent life. The mathematics here are not dismissible. The signal was too strong, too narrow in frequency, too perfectly structured to be casual noise. It was coherent. It was focused. It behaved exactly as a deliberately transmitted signal would behave. Furthermore, and this detail is rarely discussed, Big Ear only caught 72 seconds of it because of how the telescope moved. The signal itself may have been broadcasting continuously for years, decades, or longer. We simply happened to be pointing in the right direction for 72 seconds on one night in August 1977. If that civilization is still broadcasting, the signal may be passing through our solar system right now, tonight, at this exact moment. We just are not listening. The second major theory attempts a natural explanation. In 2016, a team of researchers from the Paris Observatory proposed that the WOW signal was not from aliens at all, but from a pair of comets. Two comets, designated 266P/Christensen and P/2008Y2 Gibbs, were passing through that region of the sky in 1977. Comets release enormous clouds of hydrogen gas as they travel through space. That hydrogen cloud, the researchers argued, could have emitted a focused burst of radiation at 1420 megahertz, precisely mimicking what an intelligent signal would look like. When this paper was published, mainstream media ran headlines declaring the mystery solved. The SETI community was not convinced. Antonio Paris, the lead researcher, had not actually observed the comets in question during the 1977 time window. His calculations were based on projected orbital positions, not confirmed observation. Several astronomers pointed out that neither comet's position in 1977 could be confirmed with the precision needed to make this claim. More critically, radio astronomers argued that a comet's hydrogen cloud is diffuse, spread across a wide area of sky. But the WOW signal was extremely narrow-band, tightly focused. A diffuse hydrogen cloud does not produce a signal that clean. The comet theory remains contested. It has not been proven, and it has not satisfied the researchers who understand the signal most deeply. The third theory is the one nobody in official science wants to talk about. Consider the following facts. In 1977, the 1420 MHz frequency was internationally designated as a protected band, meaning civilian and military transmitters were prohibited from using it, specifically to keep it clear for radio astronomy research. Now consider, classified military satellites operated by both the United States and Soviet Union during the Cold War were known to sometimes operate on protected frequencies, under the assumption that their transmissions would be written off as natural noise or classified before any researcher could investigate. If a military satellite, American, Soviet, or from another government entirely, transmitted on 1420 MHz on August 15, 1977, and Big Ear happened to be pointed in the right direction at the right moment, the signal profile would match exactly what Ehman recorded. The military would never confirm this. The signal would simply be quietly buried. Is this what happened? There is no proof, but there is also no official denial. The government has never addressed the WOW signal directly, not once. In nearly 50 years, that silence means everything, or it means nothing, depending on who you ask. Jerry Ehman spent much of his later life reflecting on that moment in 1977. In interviews, he was always careful. He never claimed the signal was alien. He never claimed it was proven natural. What he said, consistently and quietly, was that the signal was extraordinary, that it matched every criterion for what an extraterrestrial transmission would look like, that he had hoped, for years, that it would return. It never did. When asked directly, "Do you think it was aliens?" Ehman would pause, and then he would say something that stayed with everyone who heard it. He said, "I am not going to deny the possibility." From a scientist of his caliber, in his position, that statement means more than it appears to. Here is what we are left with. The WOW signal is not a legend. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is documented, peer-reviewed, physically recorded data sitting in an archive at Ohio State University. The printout with the red circle and the handwritten word exists. The numbers exist. The frequency, the intensity, the duration, the direction, all of it is real and measurable. No natural explanation has been proven. The comet theory has been challenged and has not been confirmed. No artificial Earth-based source has ever been identified. No follow-up signal has ever been detected from that region of space, despite multiple dedicated searches. The signal remains, officially, unexplained. And now comes the part that should genuinely unsettle you. In 1977, humanity had one radio telescope capable of detecting a signal like that. One. Big Ear was a unique instrument. When it was demolished in 1997, torn down to build a golf course, we lost one of our most sensitive ears to the universe. Since then, we have built more telescopes, better ones, but our coverage of the sky is still limited. We are not listening to the entire sky at once. We are pointing specific telescopes at specific targets for specific windows of time. What if the WOW signal's source broadcasts on a schedule? Every 10 years, every 50 years, every century. We would have no way of knowing. We might have already missed the next transmission while our telescopes were pointed somewhere else. What if the signal was meant for us specifically, a narrow beam aimed at our solar system, and whoever sent it is now waiting for a response that has never come? What if they have concluded we are not intelligent enough to answer, or not listening, or simply not ready? And here is the darkest thought of all. What if we did detect it again, and someone decided that the public should not know? The WOW signal came once, on one night, in August 1977. It lasted 72 seconds and then disappeared into silence. The universe has been quiet ever since. But the universe is very, very large, and 72 seconds is a very, very short time to decide that we are alone in it. If you made it to the end of this video, you already know something most people do not. That one night in 1977, for 72 seconds, we may have been contacted. We did not answer. The question is not whether it happened. The question is, what do we do if it happens again?